And they're already giggling. All right. We are back with episode 3 with Sparrow Wren and Frank Murray discussing Feather and Fur, their upcoming album. February 13th at Music Millennium is going to be the release party, right? 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
I should probably mention that in every episode.
That's part of the release party. That's like the pre-release.
That's
and then,
pre-release.
Okay.
And then Valentine's Day, the following day, February 14th at the Blue Diamond will be
In
the
Portland,
actual.
yeah.
Okay.
And what time is that one, Frank?
Good question.
Good question.
7. I think it's 7 p.m.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Well, check out featherandfurmusic.com, Feather and Fur Music on all the social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Is it on X, formerly known as Twitter? Do you guys have an X account?
I don't think so.
I don't even know if you can use X for that kind of a thing. I'm not sure.
I never use X.
Yeah, okay,
or
then never mind.
anything because it's just.
I don't even know
weird.
if X would work to promote this. It's kind of a different thing, I think. So.
I do drive a Tesla, though. Does that count?
Elon is very happy.
You know,
I think it's the same
ZZ
thing.
Top had the perfect song. I heard it on the X. they were way ahead of their time. That's like the early 70s.
So, Sparrow, have you found your windshield wiper reservoir in the Tesla?
Is that a thing?
Have you found where to put the gas in the Tesla? Do you know where the gas cap is?
Well, yeah. I have not found my windshield wiper reservoir, and I probably am going to need to do that at
But
some point.
She did put gas in the
Tesla?
It is
in the
fully
windshield
fueled up.
wiper
It is
reservoir.
fully, yes, right. Because that's what you do, right?
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
It'll help, when it's icy. That gas will just cut right through.
Right. Well, I think now I need to do my blonde laugh if you're going to say that happened. So.
Is that your Barbie laugh?
That is my Barbie laugh, yes.
All right. Song number 3, Every Time It's You. So start with this one, the origin of that. Who kind of came to the table with this idea?
That one was just little melody, and that line was just haunting me for a day. I don't know why, but
Was this one you woke up in the middle of the night, or when did it come to you?
I don't know. I was probably in the produce section at Fred Meyer's.
Looking at the cantaloupes.
That's a
Sorry.
good one.
Sorry.
Oh, that brings back memories. Okay.
Every time it's you. That's probably not even how it goes.
Yeah, so anyway, it was going to start out as kind of like, a romantic kind of song. And so
there's obviously a story here.
Here's the deal. I can come up with melody lines, arrangements, and stuff, pretty easily, but when I sit down and start writing lyrics, I just paint myself into a corner every time. So anyway, I told Sparrow, that's like, okay, that's what I got. What do you got?
What was the original line that Frank came up with? And it was originally going to be a love song, but
every time
that literally the name of the song?
Every time it's you.
Every time it's you. Okay.
And so the premise was a little different
than how it ended up.
So she just. Give me a second. All right. Lyrics like, oh, okay.
Hey.
We're going a different direction.
So give Sparrow the inspiration or the origin of a love song, and she will flip the script.
I tried to write a love song. I think every single time I have started out saying, okay, this is the one. I am going to write something sweet and romantic and lovely, and then it just all goes sideways, right?
This is great.
So this one started out it was like, oh, every time it's you, to every time it's you. You're just.
It's just the intonation and the voice inflection that can just change the meaning of this
man.
lyric.
Yeah, this one ends up being just like that relationship you just can't get away from. Just every time it's you.
Oh my God. So 15-minute writing break, or how long did it take you to take that that lyric every time it's you, and how long did it take you to write like the whole song?
Well, I think initially I tried really hard to write like, really loving, like wonderful
Sappy,
lyrics.
yeah.
Yeah, and then like once I gave in to my natural inclination, it was very fast. In fact, this one I think has some of my favorite lyrics in it. Like literally, Frank was he had something stuck in his throat.
I
He
think
said,
I was eating something like a granola bar or something.
Okay.
yeah, and he said, "Just a minute, I got a crumb in my throat," and I'm like, "Yeah!" And so,
Napkin.
right? No, and so it's I
In
choke
French.
on your love like a crumb in my throat, self-inflicted pain, and I know I should walk, but I run back instead. My soul is just a stain.
God, that's brilliant.
I know. I
And
just
that just came out.
yeah. He's like, "I got something in my throat." I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute."
Frank, what is wrong with her?
Oh,
Okay,
got it,
okay.
it got it out of my throat. Too
Oh.
funny.
So lyrics, were you on this one? And then did you add music to it after she kind of came up with the concept of the lyrics?
Well, the music was kind of floating in my head already, so
Oh, okay. So
yeah,
you already had
I
a
had
melody.
a little melody kind of banging around, and
Did you have to adjust the melody once she turned it into a dark
well,
song?
it's more phrasing, and I sing this
You
one.
sing that one. Yeah, you sing that one.
Okay, but we do a lot of harmonies in this one too. So,
Okay.
but I had to mess around with the lead vocal. I think it was a little lower at first, and then I kind of raised it up a little bit so it gave a little more life.
Okay.
And I don't know, we played around with that a little bit, and just wanted to make sure I stayed within my range,
Are you so you I guess it's something else. Are you playing your rhythm guitar on all these songs and then he's
No.
Okay.
No. Not at this point. Although for the live
She
show,
will.
yeah.
But you can. You just
That-
you didn't necessarily on the album is what you mean or
Right. Not. I think there were only 2 songs that I played guitar on when we were in.
Three?
Were there 3?
I think.
Yeah. Well, I need to like beef it up. I mean, he's such a monster guitar player
Right.
that like it's so hard to want to like put an instrument in my
So
hands when Frank's
well,
around.
and the reason I asked that, I guess we off air we talked. If you guys, do you want to give a sample, even if like Frank's playing and you do a little line or two of the song? Do you want to do that for any of them, not just
Yeah.
this one?
we
Yeah,
could probably do
we-
that
we
one
could
for
do-
RJ.
Whatever's easiest,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah.
because it's going to be
We'll-
impromptu. But you could
Yeah.
just sing a few lyrics and he can play it. Because then you could put that mic in front of the guitar and you can just sing.
For
Okay.
sure,
Yeah.
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 Okay.
We got the perfect song for that.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
I'll play the guitar. She'll sing.
And what? That's song number 7. Okay.
All right, well.
We can do these out of order because they're individual. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if you want to do that, and
Yeah,
I
we
don't.
could do
Yeah, yeah.
that. Yeah.
Cool. Anyway, when you say you kind of turned it into a God, every time it's you again.
Apologies.
What's the because again I haven't heard the lyrics. What is the basic storyline of this song?
Well, and again, I like to think that actually what, I think the stuff that we wrestle with is the stuff that we wrestle with, right? So what I wrestle with, or what I think is a common theme among people overall is, you maybe come back to something that wasn't really good for you, or you maybe have longevity in a relationship and it's not necessarily the best thing for you, but you just circle back to it because it's comfortable or whatever, like every time it's you.
Your lyrics, and I'm noticing a pattern here, but your lyrics are, and well, 3 songs in, but at least for 1 and 3, You're writing from a real place. You're writing from personal experience. It sounds like.
Absolutely, yeah. And when I've tried to do anything different than that, then it's not organic, right? And then
Yeah.
that's where I like wrestle with things. And the last 3 years have been just a wonderful time of reflection and growth for me. And so, I really love having this outlet, right? Of being able to. To turn some of this stuff that I really do think is a common human experience into, poetry and music.
And a lot of these topics are very relatable. Like you're saying,
Yeah.
most people can, probably not all people can relate to this. And you touched on the last 3 years. You obviously during the pandemic had a life-changing experience. Things in your life changed, but it sounds like that has opened a lot more doors for you, and it sounds like you really drove forward on the music thing. Like it opened up all these new possibilities and allowed you to focus on music, songwriting, collaborating.
It was a strange gift, right?
Most of the good gifts, you don't see them coming, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really do think that that is a human experience, right? Like we think we can plan, we think that we have, sort of this path, but actually if you stay on that path and on your plan, generally, it gets pretty boring. And so, really just getting to a point in life of, opening up my hands and, not wanting to close my hand around anything, right?
Yeah.
But really keeping my hands open to whatever comes into my life has been such a gift. And so I know we're kind of laughing, that like, these aren't really love songs, but the truth is that, nobody really has this perfect love relationship. I think these are the things that people live, that maybe there is some, aspect of, a parasitic relationship or a settling kind of a situation that, it's part of the human experience.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, it's absolutely okay to observe those things and accept them and embrace your fears. Mental health you were talking about earlier. It's okay to ponder, and because that's how you heal, and that's how you grow as a person. Is if you just try to keep everything stuffed back and you don't ever deal with it.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's
gonna
sick.
stunt your growth as a human being.
Exactly. And it
So.
keeps us disconnected from people. I
Yes.
think, so my goal in music is love and connection through music, right? And I think that, if we pretend that we're okay and we put, nice little posts of happy, fluffy puppies, and talk about love and rhyme it with something wonderful, that, it's all well and good, rainbows and sunshine and teddy bears. But, then somebody else that's, actually feeling what you're feeling thinks that what you're saying is true. And then they're like, well, why isn't that true for me? And so it's that sort of lie that we tell ourselves and we tell other people that keeps us separate. It's the opposite of connection.
Yeah. And again, you have a major life change, which you can't always predict, but maybe a lesson taken from that is being aware that, hey, it is okay to even initiate life changes. You don't have to wait for them to happen unexpectedly. It's keep your mind open to new experiences and making new connections. Like I can't find where I put the windshield wiper fluid, so I end up meeting Ken, and then
You have to tell that story now.
And then lo and behold, we're recording podcast for you. So
Right.
Thank goodness that you couldn't find your gosh damn windshield wiper reservoir in her car.
So do you want to tell that backstory?
Okay, I'll make it quick. I was working at Costco one night, had just got off shift at 7 p.m. Went in the dressing room. I was literally about trying to take my safety equipment off and get ready to go home. And I wander out, open the door, and out at one of the bay doors that was open is this sweet, innocent little lost-looking woman who turned out to be Sparrow, standing there. And there was a couple other employees that were screwing around at the computer. And I was like, okay, I'm supposed to be off, but fine. I'll go over and she needs some help. So, what was it? I forgot how you phrased it, but I was like, hey, what can I do for you? She's like, so I have a really girly question. I think that's how you phrased it.
I think it was,
Yeah,
yeah.
and you're like, so you were really proud. I
Yeah.
bought this. She had the box of windshield wiper fluid.
I'm still proud.
I
I'm
found
still
this in the
proud.
store. I found it and I bought it.
Yes.
I just don't know where to put it in my car.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, I can help you out with that. So I go over there, have her pop the hood, and I find it, and we open it up, and I'm pouring it in, and we're chatting. And I had, at the time, my fingernails were, I had a pedicure done, and they were painted a very dark purple with some sparkles. So I'm doing that, and we're just chatting. And I think the first thing that, you just out of the blue were like, oh, you play guitar. And you told me later, we talked about it, that it was the either, I think you had asked about the fingernails, or so. It was like my daughter was too old, so it wasn't because I had a daughter that I got them painted. But then your next thing was, oh, you play guitar, and I was like, God, yeah, I do. How the hell how do you know that? And you still had your guitar in the back, and then you mentioned that you play some gigs at that fish house that's right next to Costco, and you were like, yeah, I got gigs there. You told me how to find you on Instagram, and then we messaged. I came out and saw some of your gigs, and the rest is history. And here we are.
And you played out for the very first
Oh,
time
well,
at
that
one of my
doesn't.
shows.
Again, this is not me, but yes, a big appreciative shout out to you, Sparrow. I went to see you at Gossip in the Grain, tap room here in Vancouver, and you took a break halfway through your set, and you were like, you want to do a couple? And I'm like, it's actually good that it worked out that way, because if I didn't known it was going to happen, I'd have been too nervous. So you let me use your guitar, and I did 2 songs. Looking back, I mean, it was an awesome experience, because it was like one of those moments where something shifts and you get past that point. And I told you earlier, it's been an inspiration, because now, like, I'm practicing every day. Like, it really encouraged me. Getting past that point of playing in front of strangers and singing. So yeah, it was like a jumping off point. And I feel like things are just progressing a lot faster. So
that makes me so happy.
yes.
And I mean, I do think it's being vulnerable in life, right, with the people around us that is the secret sauce, and actually growing as a human being and connecting with other people. And so you being vulnerable enough to get up and and make music, which was something that was on your bucket
And
list.
luckily I didn't ruin your gig. People didn't leave.
You did a great job. You did a great job. Yeah.
I did an okay job looking back, because just my playing and singing has progressed even from that point, and looking back going, ooh, that was it was very robotic, because I was too stressed on focusing on the chord changes. A little trick I've taught myself, this might seem simple, but if you're trying to sing and play guitar at the same time, it's better if you don't look at your chord hand. Because otherwise you need to feel the melody and the chord changes. Don't stare at it and like, oh, this is when I have to change.
Yeah.
So I figured that out. That was a big step. Anyway, once again, is there anything last you want to wrap up on this song, Every Time It's You?
Oh, yeah. So the drum track on this was
Yes.
so I was trying to come up with again, we recorded it guitars with like a click track, little filler drum thing, and then
Okay.
and I worked backwards from there, totally breaking all the rules. I mean, you should, anyway, it is what it is. So I was down at the NAMM show in April.
That's in Vegas, right?
L.A.
Oh, it's in L.A. Okay.
Yeah, and so I had a flight coming back. Should have been painless. Well, no, it wasn't. So I went low budget, and I decided to fly Spirit Airlines.
Oh,
And,
I'm sorry. Never again. You probably.
So
Yeah, why do you hate yourself?
I don't know. Got a song about that. So that trip home took I think total of 12 hours.
Oh my gosh.
From L.A. to here?
Yeah.
How many stops?
One stop. There was a flight delay thing
Oh,
somewhere.
Jesus.
The plane was coming from somewhere, or there was a storm, or like
Oh my
I don't
God.
know. It's Spirit Airlines.
Yeah.
And
Enough said.
I spent hours at the airport, so I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna make a drum track for Every Time It's You. So I got on there, and I'm, and I'm just, I suck as a drummer, but I just
But on the iPad, you can do it.
well, on the iPad, I did it in parts. I created these little loop things, and I got an intro, and I just approached it. Each little section, the intro, the first verse, the chorus, and all of a sudden, I've got all my little building blocks, and they were starting to actually, fit into the groove. Like, holy crap, I'm actually making it work. So, anyway, I had, 12 hours into that. What else am I going to do?
Right.
Sit around airport, and it was just a comedy of errors with Spirit Airlines because it was
So,
one delay after another.
I think what I'm getting here is that we can thank Spirit Airlines for this song every time it's you.
Sure. Yeah. It's all about them. Every
Yeah,
time it's
no, I
you.
think they're going to sponsor the tour, right?
They should.
Well, so anyway, that's my little story there. So
I love that. Yeah, and it's wonderful. What you put together is so good. But when you came back from that trip, you were, I think, describing to me that you were on the plane with the headphones on, like.
Oh. Yeah, and it was late at night too.
And people are looking at you
Like-
like, "What's this guy doing?"
Yeah.
Well, the headphones, they can't
That-
hear anything, right?
What-
They
no,
just see you
they
doing
heard my
this.
fingers.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
so. Oh well.
All right. Every time it's you, track number 3. Once again, featherandfurmusic.com. Feather and Fur Music on all the social media platforms. Pre-release party, February 13th, which is a Tuesday at Music Millennium. And the actual release party is the next night. Happy Valentine's Day with all these love songs you've written. That'll be Wednesday the 14th at the Blue Diamond.
Yeah. Remember to wear black.
Never to wear black.
Oh my gosh. All right. Next episode will be up soon, guys.
Bathroom.